here? Can you hear me?
So it's you and me and Tim, and we lost some of the, first off, I apologize, we had to get some backup just to get us on a recording on lecture mode. There's a lot of people on the call. This call was put together for Friday night just to cover texting and Craigslist advertisement as far as what's been working really good. So I'm going to pull out the main interview right now. And Victor, I'm going to pull you out, and I want to ask how long you've been with the Goodlife.
Dave Struckman, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Hey, I'd like to say a big hello to all the USA and now Canadian Goodlife IBOs. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve you tonight.
Okay, Victor, I know you've been in probably since early January is what I believe, and I know that you came in and you've gone through basically, and I'm going to cover perseverance with you because you really stayed with it. I want you to share what happened with your experience with texting and with Craigslist and maybe doing a whole lot of texting. And I know the whole story, what happened. I just want you to come out and just share it from your point of view, what you've been doing, maybe the frustration that you went through, and then what happened here last week when you figured out what you really had, okay?
Absolutely, Dave. Where do I start? I'll tell you what, Dave, I actually got started at the tail end of December, but I didn't actually engage until, let's say, mid or late January. And when I did, and I started understanding the education and the training and the teaching, which is extremely vital, for all of us to engage, and have that motivation to actually want to do something and live intentionally. I actually got, the vibe, and I started understanding that it really was all about texting. So I kind of like just went off your lead, and I followed basically everything that you were teaching, Dave, and all the emails you were sending out to us. And you and I go a long way. We've known each other for a little while now, and I've really valued your input and your encouragement, your leadership. And I knew that what you were teaching made sense. I just wasn't really implementing it at the very beginning. And Dave, let me tell you, I'm shocked at what has happened here. I have been texting for since late January till, I'd say, beginning of May here, and I honestly felt like I literally was not getting any results. When I say nothing, I was getting nothing. I was sponsoring people, I was bringing people in, but that's something I was doing on my own with people that I knew. I brought them in, I reached out to them, I warm market, and it worked out well. As far as reaching out to the cold market and off of the genealogy leads list that Roger Licka promotes, some other leads that I ventured out myself that I purchased as well, I just began following your lead, and I started texting mad for about 4 months straight, and nothing. I mean, Dave, absolutely nothing. And I kept checking my back office on 800 Link, and I'm thinking, I'm following every single step that Dave and Nadine and the rest of the team are teaching. Why am I not having any results? Why is it that no one is responding? Well, believe it or not, Dave, come to know that after calling 800 Link and speaking to, I think it was Julie, she had mentioned that I wasn't set up to receive emails. That's one, big mistake. Two, I had no idea that I had to push the call report button to get all my feedback and all the information that was sitting there just waiting for me. And so when I pushed the call reports and she set me up to finally start receiving emails, Dave, I was literally blasted with over 300 responses. Not one was no. They left messages, quite a few of them. Most of them did listen to the call. Some of them didn't listen to the complete call, but as far as the 4-minute sizzle, Dave, they hammered it. Every single person was listening to that call. I had people leaving me their name and number, their information, so I had to start literally grabbing. I do the old-fashioned way as well, Dave. I grabbed a notepad. My wife sat beside me. Her name's Joy. And we started logging and documenting every single lead that I had in there. I was texting away as she was documenting landlines, documenting everything that I was doing from beginning to end. I still have to reach out to part of the ones in March and in January. And just by reaching out to the ones basically in May and in April from the Craigslist, from all the texting that I did as well, I am working with probably a good 12 to 14 people right now. They're all within the third and the final steps. I should be sponsoring between 10 and 14 people within the next 7 to 10 days. Unbelievable.
I got to ask you. I was shocked by what I heard because it was like, okay, you went into your back office. There's a way you can go back there. You were looking in the message center where the people leave messages, but you didn't hit the call report. And the call report shows every single person that called in, whether they listened for 1 minute or the full 3 minutes and 56 seconds. The ones that did and did not leave a message, you weren't getting notifications on it because you just weren't quite sure how to do it, correct?
Correct, exactly. And I also followed Tim Morrison's lead. He goes, I called Tim. I said, Tim, you're not going to believe this, man. I've got over 300 leads here. He's like, what? I said, yeah. I said, how do I get to the one? How do I tell me? I called you as well, and I'm like, how do I get back to the ones from January and February? He's like, Victor, just text them like they had just, pretty much listened to your call yesterday. And when they get back to you and they say, who is this, or what? I don't remember. Can I have more information on this? Basically, that's what I got, Dave. People were saying, I don't remember. What is this? Sorry, I just don't remember. And I refreshed them, and they started going through the steps. And that's what I did. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, you shared something with me that you and your wife are now doing this full time just to go back through all this incredible overflow of not just leads, hot leads, people that listen to the call already. And I asked you specifically earlier where you got these leads. And I want you to come out and just, everyone's just dying to know. You just didn't get the leads from MLM genealogy leads from Roger Licka. You just didn't do Craigslist. Let's talk about what else you discovered. And you told me the full price you paid for all these leads. And I see at least 10 to 15 signups here in the next week with the work you've done. So this is important to share this.
Yes, and I've actually done some three-ways with Tim and with you as well, so we know that we got some real champs coming on board with us. In fact, some people really are recognizing who Matt Lando is and who Mark Seaforth is. In fact, I got a gentleman who responded to one of my Craigslist ads. He could not call me, Dave, because he had laryngitis for about a week. Great gentleman. He's about 61 years of age. He's been in the housing industry, building industry for about 45 years plus. And he said, Victor, I know who Mark Seaforth is. I know that these VIP club cards will work because my wife and I ventured into a program handing out medical cards of all different types of, medical issues that people would have, and this medical card will provide them with medication and seeing a doctor and so on. They made some great money off of that. It just didn't last for a while on that program. But he understands what Mark Seaforth is doing, and he understands his vision. He said, I'm coming on platinum. Give me a couple days. I'm going to come on platinum. I'm bringing on my family, and I'm a network marketer, so I'm going to really knock out South Carolina. We're going to go ahead and handle this territory. It's a growing territory in Charlotte, Carolina. I think it's Charlotte. And he said, we are a growing community. Houses are being built, and I think a big Volvo plant is actually in construction right now in South Carolina. There's a lot of good things going on there. So I got this partner here that's going to join me here shortly.
Well, I want to go into the basically exactly what we do here. And I asked you to send me over. You came up with a follow-up text to all these people that I looked at here a few days ago, and I thought it was excellent. And it's working really good as far as getting those people plugged back in that maybe have been unplugged for 2 or 3 months and get them replugged back in. So you have all these leads that were old turning into fresh leads, number one. And number two, let's talk about the original text message that you sent out. I know you kind of based it on what I did, and it worked really, really well for you. In fact, you didn't even know how well it was working, did you?
I had no clue, Dave. I thought it was just, you start to wonder, you start to really doubt yourself sometimes, and it's like, what's going on? If Dave Struckman can do this, and everyone's thinking, well, Dave's doing it, he's getting results, well, what about us? What's going on? Is anyone else out there actually getting results? And I'm thinking, man, I got to be the next guy to, to be able to share, hey, you know what? What he teaches is true, and it actually works. And obviously, right, come to know, we click on that button, and boom, presto, there they are. They're just sitting for me, waiting for me to engage upon them and start, taking them through the process of steps. And basically, if you want me to go through my texting method, I call it.
Yeah, I kind of want you to go through the texting messages because and I was telling people if you just take the text and come to find out, and basically it took us going through quite a few numbers and testing and getting results back from the field, but we have found out that 4-minute sizzle is the best tool. And I'm just going to say this. If you were not on 800 link, but you're just using a broad number, would you ever really know how well you did? Because listen to what I'm going to say. If that wasn't your 800 link number and you couldn't go in the back office, you'd be 300 leads that were gone right now. Is that correct?
You know, you're exactly right, and I'll tell you why. Because I wasn't really getting much of a response through texting. Some people, they just have a little doubt, little fear, whatever it is, I don't know, but they just kind of like hold back a little and they don't text you back, but they do listen to that number. You're right. Every single one of them listen to the sizzle call, and because of that call report, I was able to get back to them, and I mentioned that I see that you've gone to our call and you've listened to the call entirely. Here's the next step. And that's how I was able to engage, because they knew that they did listen to that call. If they leave a message, Dave, I actually come back to them and I follow up with them and I say, I see that you left a voice message. You're available from 9 to 12, Monday through Friday. Now they know that I'm not fooling. I'm not playing any games, and I'm not lying to them. So they know that I've listened to their voice message. I just bring that out in the text, very short and simple and sweet. Or I say, I see that you've listened to our call. Here's the next step. And that's what I basically have been doing with all of them, so that they know that I have connected with them through that 800 link number. And if it wasn't for that, Dave, I wouldn't even be here today talking with you.
So I'm going to one that's on the line. This is
Dave, you disappeared.
Okay, hold on. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me, Victor?
We can. Yeah, I can hear you, Dave.
Yeah, okay. Tim, I got it. So listen, so the bottom line is that you can either hook into 2 calls, whether it's a sizzle call and the Dr. Michelle Lay call, or the sizzle call and the May 3rd call. You got to have 2 calls there. And we're starting to find out something else too. That 4-minute call works so well that people are skipping the second recorded call and taking people right to the videos. So I'm going to ask you, are you sending out the videos on the send out page, or are you using the capture page? What are you doing with the follow-up?
Dave, I'm actually using the capture page, and if you want me to just read off the actual, the 4 steps that I follow, I can do that for you.
Yes, I do. Okay.
All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and just use your name. All right, first step, basically it's this. Dave, this is Victor, and I want to know if you're ready to make some money with me. Call my 800 link number. I put that in there. 4-minute recorded audio in parentheses. This call will keep you awake tonight. Then text me back for the next step. So I send that out to them. And that's the first step. And I'll tell you what, Dave, like I said, I've gotten a lot of responses basically just off of that as soon as I was able to find out that I actually had leads that were responding. The next step is, Dave, listen, okay, I did change this up a little bit, Dave. I was using Dr. Michelle's call, and I still do. I'm using it for business professionals and people that are brick-and-mortar businesses that I know personally. I wanted to change it up a little bit, only because I noticed, and Tim Moore just came, I understand what Tim Morrison is trying to teach here, and he said, you got to track leads. You got to understand, you're a lead tracker now. If you can track leads consistently and effectively, you will win at this game. If you can bring in 5, even just 5 to 10 people every month, just once a month, how many do you have by the end of the year?
Right.
And I listened to Tim, and Tim said, look, you got to become a lead tracker on everything. And so I started noticing that most of the leads were not listening to the complete call on the Dr. Michelle. Now, some did, and some did not. And so what I wanted to do, just to test, just to test the market a little bit, I like to do that. I'm the guinea pig. I'm going to go ahead and put myself out there, and I'm going to go ahead and use Dave and Nadine's call. So this is what I've been using for the last week. Dave, listen to Dave and Nadine share the concept of spending less and living more by giving away 200 VIP hotel club cards and more. Then text back for the next step. And so I threw your March 8th 11-minute call on there, and let me tell you, people have been listening to that call entirely, the whole call, and
Really?
requesting for the next step. The third step is, Dave, take a listen to our recent testimonials as to how this has been a real win-win in giving away the 200 VIP club cards and much more. I throw in the testimonial link like we all do, right? Then text back for the final step, and I say, thank you, Victor, T-Y, Victor. I throw that on the third step, not on the first or the second. I actually throw my thank you and Victor out there so that they know that, hey, I'm considering them and I'm respecting their request of the following steps. So then I go to the very final step. They're requesting, again, this final step. I say, okay, Dave, here's our link for you to view 2 videos on how, in quotation marks, on how the money is made. Let's connect afterwards to have your questions answered after you've viewed both videos. Be sure to input your best email in the boxes provided. Then text back to schedule a time and day. Thank you, Victor. And I throw my link at the bottom, which is our capture page. Those are the actual 4 steps that I'm following.
Those are the actual steps. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, I asked you earlier to email me all those. I'm going to put a newsletter together either tonight or tomorrow and get this out to everybody. But first off, the one key ingredient, you guys got to hook into 800 Link and start tracking what you're doing. I'm actually changing all my numbers on Monday on 800 Link because I've got so many people using them, I can't even track my own. I will start a fresh tracking system. You're in business. That's $19.95 to get on 800 Link. Go to 800link.com/Goodlife and get on the system. And it sounds like you've got 3 numbers. I've actually got 4, but you got 3 numbers. You have 1 for the sizzle call. Number 2, you got the Dave and Nadine call. And number 3, you've got the testimonial call. Is that correct?
Actually, the testimonial call, I've been using the link for that for right now and see how that works, and it's been working beautifully so far for me.
So you only need two lines. 2 lines with 800 Link for $19.95. And I'm going to bring out the guy that's been mentoring you that's got over, and I know you've got a couple hundred people, Victor, underneath you. You're doing incredibly well, and I want to salute you as the way to set the pace for all of us. I've never talked to anybody that had 300 leads that have gone through the system, at least a 4-minute sizzle call. So I'm going to bring out Tim Morrison, who's got over 1,000 people below him. He's got a huge group. I think he's got about 32 personals. Tim Morrison, are you with us?
I am.
I want to, loud and clear, I want you to come out and just share with everybody your success. And really, Victor's is your student.
Yeah, well, I work. Here's the thing. Dave and I talked today, and we mentioned you, and I said, here's the deal, okay? He listened, followed, didn't try to make up something else, and he and his wife actually do something, I think it's called work. Here's where most people fail. They don't work. They don't do it. They let TVs, dogs, people, this, that, whatever, things around their homes. There's no boss. Distract them from what they're doing. That's why they don't succeed. Texting is impersonal. Anybody can text. My 9-year-old granddaughter could text and send a follow-up, okay, which means if you don't do it, a 9-year-old could beat you. Get out of your way, get the genealogy leads, and start texting. And just the next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. Follow what people tell you to do. That's exactly what Victor did, okay? You just got to work. It's as simple as that, okay? I'm going back to marketing here, which I haven't marketed for probably 3 or 4 months. I brought 30 or so people in, and then I sat back and I helped my people succeed. That's how I grew my business. It's to the point now where 3/4 of the deals that happen in my downline I have nothing to do with because it's so easy for other people to explain this. They learn quickly. There's not a big learning curve. So now I'm going back to texting and Craigslist itself, and I'm not stopping until I have 156 personals, which puts me at the top of the pay program. That's all you got to do. Some people might do it in 6 months. Some might take 2 years. Who cares? The whole time you're making money. So you don't have to be a salesperson here. That's why I joined this. The first thing I saw, you can give away cards. People can save money. You get paid and nobody has to join. That's revolutionary. Everybody that's been in any home-based business has never been able to just give the product away and make money without people joining. You can make 6 figures by passing out 1,000 cards a month effectively to the right people in the right places. It's not hard to do. You have people thanking you and shaking your hand and strange women hugging you when you give them a gift. Anybody can do that. It becomes addicting. Okay? Get out there and do that. You have to engage in your business. And you can engage by an hour or 2 a week. And when I say an hour or 2, I mean laser focused. If I'm on one end of the house, don't tell me the house is on fire at the other end until it gets close to me, because I'm not paying attention to it. I laser focus on what I do. I can accomplish a ton. You text for a matter of an hour or 2, you've sent out 100 texts. You can't talk to that many people. I don't care who you are or where you are. But you can do that. You do that 3-4 times a week for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and just your only job here is, like Victor, I told Victor, your only job is to track leads. That's it. You need tools to do that. Capture pages that emailed you when somebody did, an 800 link captures everything. They can't lie about their phone number. You see it. You know how long, what day, how many seconds, minutes they can leave you a message. Okay? You track that information. If all you do is put out a bunch of texts, do Craigslist, have a capture page, have 800 link that tracks your calls, you're now in business. $30 one time on the capture page, $19.95 a month for 800 link. If all you ever do is sit down for 6-8 hours a week, laser focused, and putting out texts, you don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to leave the house. You don't have to get a shower. Okay? If you do that, you will be successful, period. Why people won't just do that? They're afraid of success or their own worst enemy. You don't want to be that guy. Just do what you need to do. Look at what happened to Victor here, okay?
Yep.
And do that, because he didn't expect it. He just did what we asked him to do.
Well, I'm just going to say this, Tim. I want to thank you for coming out, and you got to share. You've got one of the best closing lines I've ever heard. If you can share that, go ahead.
There. Pastor Wayne Swenson, about 2 months ago, in the last business with me in this business, calls me up and says, "Hey, Tim," he said, "I found something here." He said, "You know my 4 dogs, and I know them to hear them. They're trained to bark when his cell phone rings." Anyways, he said, "I was on my benefits page with the 400,000 retailers." He said, "The dog food's $40 a month, special food." He says, "On there, $28 shipped to my house. I took that $12 off my $59.95. One of the grandsons, 5 years old. Jeans, JCPenney's, 3 miles down the street from their house. Those 3 pair of jeans cost $9 less than if he drove to that store that day. His wife saw, wanted bed sheets, 2 beds. Fitted sheet, loose sheets, 2 pillowcases. JCPenney's again saved $20. More than they would have saved if they went to JCPenney's 3 miles down the road. He bought something else anyways. On things he buys anyhow, he saved a good bit more than his $59.95 a month. So here's what's going to happen in this. In the next 12 months, John Doe, one of 2 things will happen, and only one of 2 things. You will pay to be in Goodlife, and you'll have it, or you'll pay to be in Goodlife, and you won't have it.
What a great closing.
Making money with me.
That's a great closing line, and awesome
it's
training.
True.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is true. That's the thing. It's not a close. It's true.
Oh, it's true, yeah. Victor, are you still with us?
I'm still here, Dave.
Okay, we're going to end this call, and I want you to end the call as far as your final words, because I know you're on fire. I know you got sales coming in. I know you've got hundreds of people in your group, and I know that probably the shock of your marketing career was 300-plus leads. In fact, I said, if you don't know what to do with them, give them to me. Isn't that what I said? Yeah.
And I said, absolutely not. I got them covered.
Okay, so wrap this up, and we're going to end this call for Friday night with your direction, okay?
All right, you got it. Hey, you guys. One thing I really understood, after training with Dave and Tim, for a couple of years now, I understand that education is huge. If you don't know what you don't know until you know. And once it hits you, dead in the center of the mind, it opens up, and you start to realize, that you really do have something here. And I just want to share with you guys the acronym KISS. And basically that KISS means keep it super simple. Connect with your leads in a real way. And don't take no's personally, okay? You just move on. As soon as I receive a text that says stop, I quickly text back, removed, and thank you. Why? I may revisit that lead several months later. You never know. Perhaps this was not a good time for in their lives at this time. Perhaps they were scared, building up, they're not ready to build a business, not ready, not looking. Whatever the reason is, I just allow my fingers to do the walking, kind of like what Nadine says, right? So we brought in 2 platinums, and we brought in a platinum on April 28th, and this is how I did it. I told her, she said, I want to get in before Canada comes in. I said, well, that's May 1st. It's April 28th. She says, well, Victor, you got to sign me up now. And she goes, I want to be in the legacy tree. This is a lady I've been following up with for like 2 weeks. And I'm thinking, why doesn't this lady answer doesn't respond to my texts? And I said, I just got to call this lady. I'm thinking, this is where it all started, Dave. I said, I got to call this lady. So I called this lady, Pamela, and obviously she was listening to everything I was sending her. She was viewing everything I was, leading her to, and she actually was on one of our calls. So come to know, this lady totally understood that Canada was coming in. She didn't remember that it was May 1st. So she said, Victor, you got to sign me up today, and I got to bring in 2 others, right? I said, exactly. Platinums or gold. We prefer platinum. And she said, well, I'm going to bring at least 2 golds within the next 2 hours. And do you know that this lady brought in 2 golds within the first 2 hours of that day after she came on board as a platinum? I've got leads that are calling me left and right. I mean, as far as, getting back to me, I cannot believe what's happening, Dave. I just want to share something with you guys. I have leads that call me, I'm reading this, and letting me know they like what they're hearing. And, of course, they ask questions. And we cannot answer questions until they've gone through the process of the steps. So I quickly tell them, look, I'll tell you what. Once you've listened and viewed all the steps, write down all your questions, starting with the one you just asked. And we'll address every one for you at that present time. I don't want to do any injustice, I don't want to cause you any injustice by explaining it all. When we have a proven system in place that does it for us, you'll thank me later, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and send you the next step, okay? And that's what we do. And that's all we do. And that's what I've been doing, and it's been working perfectly. Educate, train, teach the fundamentals of success. Stick to it. Don't quit. Don't let the no's, slow you down. Just keep going and live intentionally. You'll definitely succeed at this business.
Thank you, Victor. I'm going to go. You're just awesome. You just tore it up tonight. I want to congratulate you and Tim both on great success, great team. With that said, you guys will have everything in the next Good Life newsletter from Victor, exactly what he does, where he leads people, and how he brings them out the other end where they're ready to sign up. And they do sign up, and they come in. And I went underneath Victor and looked at the group, and it filled up the whole screen, just little tiny snowflakes. And I thought, oh, my gosh, I called up Victor. I said, your group has exploded. He goes, I know. Okay, I want to be able to call everybody and have them say, I know, my group has exploded. So congratulations, Victor and Tim. With that said, this call is a wrap. Enjoy. Let's go ahead and end this. And you guys have a great weekend. Look for the next Good Life newsletter. If you guys want this, run with it. Grab the momentum and run with it. I promise you, you'll be successful. This call is a wrap.